here's a good time to stop and talk about Simon and Charlie, because now there is a relationship that is trusting and seems to be very good for both of them, and yet they're very different characters. What does that do for their partnership personally, and as police officers, that they are balanced in this interesting way?
Well, Simon and Charlie are very, very much, they love each other a lot, and they couldn't really live without each other at this point, but they don't have a sort of traditional romantic hearts and flowers type relationship. And a lot of the time they spend together in Woman with a Secret, they're kind of shouting at each other or resenting each other. So I suppose what I wanted to do was convey the closeness of their relationship, but also there's a kind of brutality within that closeness. You know, they are everything to one another, to the point where they're sometimes as difficult to each other as they are inside their own heads. So it's certainly not a hearts and flowers kind of relationship, but it's a great relationship, and it always leads to them being able to solve the case. Even if Simon spends most of the book telling Charlie she's being wrong about something, she spends most of the book telling him he's approaching everything the wrong way. With their slightly awkward, argumentative manner together, they always get there in the end.
They do, and in fact, that very manner and the kind of relationship that they have is key in their figuring out, you know, not just understanding Nikki, who isn't as understood by other characters, and what happened to Damon and other characters. I'm not going to spill anything, but there are other characters with difficult relationships that it's clarified by their relationship. You know, and so it's bouncing back and forth.
Absolutely, and I think actually, although this isn't deliberate because it's only just occurred to me when I heard you say it, but, you know, Simon and Charlie have not had an easy relationship. Simon comes from a problematic background. Charlie has issues with her sister, so they know about complicated relationships. They are in that dimension. And so, whereas most detectives, when faced with a really weird, outlandish, baffling murder mystery, which is what I write, you know, that's my thing. I inherited it from Agatha Christie. They can begin to work it out because they know that people are much, much stranger than most people think they are. So the actual murder mystery that starts off the plot in Woman with a Secret, there's this controversial newspaper columnist who's been murdered, and he's been murdered with a knife, but he hasn't been stabbed. He's had the knife stuck to his face and parcel tape wrapped around his face, so he's actually suffocated. So the first thing Simon and Charlie are confronted with is, why would a murderer who's brought a sharp knife to the scene of a crime and taped his victim into a chair, wants to kill the victim, why not stab him with the sharp knife you've brought? If you're wanting to suffocate your victim, why bring along a knife and sharpen it at the scene of the crime? So that's immediately something far weirder than the police are in the habit of seeing. And nobody but Simon Waterhouse, who's extra weird himself, really stands a chance of working out this very weird psychology.